सगळे आमचे हेराल्ड टीव्ही पळयणाऱ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. A warm welcome to our special program, Bend It with Herald TV. This program is supported by Decathlon Kalangut, Martin's Corner Betalbatim, Adlengoy Family Restaurant, Doria Degir Multi Cuisine, and Martin's Place Village Bistro Navelim. This is the World Cup 2022 in Qatar, and Germany are out of the World Cup following one of the most controversial calls in the history of the World Cup. VAR controversy gives Japan victory and puts Germany out. Spain were lucky to move ahead in the last 16 despite a 1-2 defeat by Japan. Japan surprised everybody and won the Group E on a roller coaster night. Japan progressed from the group of death, and it was one of the greatest achievements in Japan's footballing history. Spain and Germany ended with 4 points each, but Spain progressed on just the goal difference. Another surprise, Belgium were knocked out after drawing 0-0 with Croatia, and manager Roberto Martinez stepped down immediately. We look at the results. Croatia 0, Belgium 0. Canada 1, Morocco 2. Morocco qualified topping the group. Japan 2, Spain 1, and Costa Rica 2, Germany 4. Today's matches, I am sure nobody will miss South Korea and Portugal at 8:30 p.m. Ghana versus Uruguay also at 8:30, and tonight midnight Cameroon versus Brazil and Serbia versus Switzerland. Japan, Spain, this is what is there in everybody's lips, and we have got our own experts, the commentators. By now they have gained a vast experience, and Franklin Ronken, who is a senior football development officer with the Goa Football Development Council. Welcome, Franklin Bob.
Thank you, sir.
And another personality who is also a football coach and the assistant professor of St. Xavier's College in Mapsa, also with the Goa Football Development Council, and warmly welcome Warrell D'Souza.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice to have both of you here, and what a day, what a night yesterday. What do you say about Japan and Spain, Franklin?
It's an unbelievable match, absolutely unbelievable. When the draws were put out, everyone thought Spain, Germany would have been top of the group, but Japan showed their class. And it's no surprise or you can say any fortunately that they have won. They have really worked hard for it, and
they fully deserved
it. And Japan did it with Germany. They beat them 2-1, and they did it also with Spain, and they defeated them 2-1. So all the credit goes to Japan for all the work.
So Spain's possession 83%, and shots 12, and shots on target 5, much more than Japan. Yet they went ahead. Morata scored in 11th minute, and then what a
comeback
match. What do you say, Warrell?
Yes, sir. Many of us say like it's upset, but now if you see Japan, the football is evolving. Even if you see the under-17 World Cup, you see the quality of play. They are bridging the gap now. It's no more the European and Asian. They are bridging the gap, and they are in other two teams also, USA and Australia. If you see them also playing now, especially USA versus England and Australia, they are bridging the gap. So, and they really played well, Japan. Okay, there was a moment of controversy, but they have given their best, and you can see the results.
I don't think so anybody thought that Japan would top the group with 6 points. Spain 4 points, Germany also 4 points, but Spain had 9 versus 3 goals, and Germany had 6 versus 5 goals for a difference of +1, and that made a world of difference. What do you say about it, Franklin?
I think Spain have survived because of the first game, that they scored so many goals against Croatia. against Costa Rica. But Japan had in mind that they had to win. They were not looking for anything else besides a win. Yes, definitely, Spain are always about possession. They would have the entire possession percentage with them. But Japan had a good number of chances, and they worked very hard. I would say they gave a samurai performance, and those two goals that they've scored were deserving, and they deserve to go ahead.
Alvaro Morata put Spain ahead early with a towering header, but Japan dramatically struck back at the start of the second half. You had Ritsu Doan and Ao Tanaka's goal. Sensational comeback, just as they did against Germany. Warren?
Yes, sir. In fact, if you see 11th minute Morata scores, we thought it would be Spain through. But the way they regrouped, and if you see the statistics also, 82% possession with Spain, just 18% with Japan. But every time Spain had possession, you could see Japan regrouping, coming back, defending in numbers. And whenever they got those two chances, they converted the two chances. So if you look at the stats, it says 82% possession with Spain and just 18 with Japan. But as soon as Spain had the position, Japan is to regroup. They organized themselves well, and they changed the full game.
Tanaka's goal was highly controversial after the officials relied on VAR to decide whether Mitoma had kept the ball in play by a hair's breadth to set him up. Spain will next face Morocco in the round of 16, and after Morocco beat Canada 2-1 in their final Group F match. This is what Japan's coach said on VAR goal. We think that our intent materialized as a goal. Whether the ball was out or not, there is a great technology nowadays for big football. And if it was really out, it would have been a goal kick. But the judgment of the referee, it was like that, and we respect that. We were able to accept either way, and in the end, it was decided it was so. Japanese players collapsed at full time in celebration, exhausted and elated. Spain now face Morocco in the last 16, while Japan play Croatia. Spain struggled to create chances against a staunch Japanese defense in the final stages, with the Asian side aware that conceding another goal would see them eliminated. What brief moments that must have been going through them.
Coming to the controversial goal, such matches always are defined by fine moments, and that was a fine moment there. And we always say the referee's decision is final. Though we have VAR, VAR left the decision up to the on-field referee to take a call, and the initial call was that the goal was allowed, and that stood by it. And many a times Germany has been on the advantage side in the past, wherein disallowed goals were given as goals, and goals which were to be scored were disallowed. So what I believe is Germany, when they had it in their hands, they should have done better, and they should have won at their level. But all credit to Japan. This particular goal, I think, should stand, and it should be accepted, and that's a verdict.
It was a sensational comeback by Japan. Japanese coach replaced the ineffective Kubo and Nagatomo at the break with Mitoma and Doan, and it paid instant dividends. Full marks to the coach.
Yes, absolutely. He probably saw the situation, and that's how the coaches usually do. They judge the situation. He replaced them with two subs, and it was a different result altogether. It paid dividends, and they scored, and the result was 2-1.
Yeah, and then you have seen that the winger Doan hammered past the goalkeeper. 3 minutes later, and Japan had turned the game on its head. Tanaka bungling home from the goal line after Mitoma had miraculously kept the ball in play as he crossed it according to VAR. Spain were shell-shocked and struggled to react, with coach Enrique making a number of substitutions to try and regain control. Nothing could be done. Franklin?
I believe in this particular match as well, Spain did not go all out. They must have had an element of underestimating Japan once again, like how Germany did. And like my fellow panelist Warrell also mentioned, they are bridging the gap. which the European sides need to accept that Asian teams are doing well and have to give them the deserving respect. And if they had given the respect definitely after scoring the first goal and said that let's go pushing on forward, I think this result would not have been there.
But nobody expected Japan. Were you surprised or you thought otherwise?
Initially, before the tournament, yes, no one. In fact, even if you see the commentaries, you see the match analysis, they usually used to speak of Spain and Germany, and especially Japan topping the group. No one expected. They always spoke on who will they play if they Spain top the group. But it was a complete turnaround.
Nobody. I don't think so. Even in the wildest of dreams, that Spain would lose to Japan, Asian country. And then Germany's World Cup exit, they say the match was something like watching a horror movie. Germany discovered their fate when the result of the game between Japan and Spain was displayed at the stadium. Germany, 4-time champions, defeated Costa Rica 4-2, but were knocked out due to Japan's surprise 2-1 win over Spain. Despite also finishing on 4 points, Spain progressed ahead of Germany on goal difference. How do you rate Germany's performance?
I think Germany left it late. They had their future in their own hands to progress, which they kind of underestimated Japan in the initial match. And the second match would always be a tough one for Germany to beat Spain because Spain keeps a lot of possession with them. And in the third match, they definitely had not to concede at least these 2 goals that they've considered, and definitely they would have been through.
This result yesterday is sending somewhat some shivers down the spine of our fans in Goa over South Korea and Portugal. What do you think?
Yes, because as Franklin has said, okay, now the Asian teams are coming up. So yes, it does send shivers because you don't know what South Korea is coming up with, what is their plan, and you have seen the result. We have seen the results. So many teams, especially Asian teams, Australia, it was Japan, and today it's South Korea.
And then they say that Cristiano Ronaldo is 50-50, not very sure. What do you think, Franklin?
Then that's not good news for Portugal, because though Ronaldo's age is a factor, but he's a very big, massive, enormous personality who always delivers at the greater stage. And him 50-50 is going to really bring shivers into every...
Yes. So we are coming to the halfway of our program. Sponsored by Decathlon Kalangut, Martin's Corner Bethal Batin, Adlengoy Family Restaurant, Doria Deger Multi-Cuisine Restaurant in Old Goa, and Martin's Place Village Bistro in Navalim. Don't go away. Stay with us. We'll be coming back shortly.
Please do drop in at a small little family restaurant called Adlengoy, which is just 5 minutes from Basilica of Born Jesus and Say Cathedral. In this small restaurant, we serve authentic Goan cuisine, and we are known even for our fresh fish, chicken, mutton, etc. Also, we are known even for the other cuisines like tandoori, Indian, Indo-Chinese. So why don't you come over? Also, we have a full-fledged bar, and our bartenders do really good, amazing cocktails and mocktails. And also, most important point, we are having a live premiere of the FIFA World Cup. So do drop in with your family and friends, and for reservations, dial the number on the screen.
Today we are at Martin's Place, and the ambience sarke chod baren. Like, look at this, so spacious and so nice. You feel like dancing. So let's cheers for it. The food here is next level. Like, it's so good, and so the prawns, guys, they were so kurkurit. Like, it is approved by Mr. Kurkurit. So look at me, eat them. And Goan sausage stuffed sweets. Kitne lagtale rayo. Sam ke kadis boom bang zata. And tenge signature dish mila mare stuffed crabs. Kitne lagta bara pure crab meat, white wine, and cream and cheese gun. Jauna hel mera me prawns pulao and chicken kafrial. Kafrial ki lagta har ke chod bare ta pulao.
Welcome back. You are watching Bend It with Herald TV. We have been talking about Germany's World Cup exit. Germany, in the end, blamed their team's performance against Japan earlier for their elimination and hinted that all was not well in German football. When you go out twice in the first round and won in the round of 16, it is extremely bitter. This is what one of them said. We have to be honest and say that for 4 years, everything hasn't been going well for Germany. Now, we have been knocked out twice in the group stage. I don't think we are a tournament team anymore. Germany did their beat against Costa Rica. They rallied late to beat Costa Rica 4-2 in a game that had every inch of a big drama. Costa Rica even briefly led, which if the Costa Rica had won, it would have sent both Germany and Spain out. Can you imagine such a situation, Franklin?
I mean, they definitely had that belief going into the match, especially after the redemption that they had after the loss with Spain and the win against Japan, and they went full of confidence. But and they really put up a double shift for that particular match. But German side were much better. They wanted to win this particular and get qualified. They won, but unfortunately they could not be qualified for the round of 16.
Germany disappointed. What have you to comment on that?
Yes, if you consider German football, they are considered one of the most robust leagues, because if you see, they have 12 leagues. They have 12 different leagues that they play. The tiers. And
and the Bundesliga is
one of the best.
Outstanding.
And if you see, it was a shock. I mean, 2 World Cups first round exit, and to have a system which is so robust, and now coming to this stage, first match they lost it, then second match, and the third match, yes, they were confident. If you see the statistics, it was 32 shots, 11 shots on target. They were good, but I think they left it too late. Even in the 53rd minute, it was going in their favor. 70th minute, it went back to Spain's favor because Costa Rica went ahead, and then back it came in the 85th minute. But then in this game, Japan scored.
Overall, Germany won. In the end,
Yes.
they won.
They won.
They got the goals. They got the 3 points. Yet they were debating about Japan's winner to stand trust on VAR back into spotlight as a debate raged on Thursday night over whether the ball had gone out of play before Mitoma crossed for Tanaka to score. Aerial footage appeared to show little more than a cigarette paper. I'm talking about cigarette. You know, in Goa we had mortal, and we used to put tobacco on
yes,
that.
and roll.
So you can see the thin cigarette paper. They said that's the difference between between the ball and goal line, while other angles showed that the ball looked out. But after a lengthy review by Mexico's VAR referee Fernando Guerrero, the goal was given to widespread astonishment at the Khalifa Stadium. People were stunned at the Khalifa Stadium while seeing this match somewhere else and this goal. Germany came down from 2-1 to beat Costa Rica. They would have progressed on goal difference at Japan's expense had the goal been disallowed. What do you say, Franklin? See the repercussions of the other match and this match.
Both the matches were simultaneously that were being played, and each team knew what was happening on the other side, and the performance was getting better and better as it was nearing 90 minutes. And Germany put up a double shift at that point, moved the gear up, and scored 4 goals. Unfortunately, you had on the other side Japan, who scored. You may call it a ghost goal or what you would like to, but that goal stands. And Germany did not do their bit when they had the opportunity with them.
You can't blame
You
now
cannot blame now. You
for your
cannot blame
poor
now.
performance. Do you agree, Varel?
Yes, sir. And regarding the controversy of the VAR also, although it's a fine line, but as the rule book suggests, if the full ball has not left the line, if it's there, but still, I think the Germans will be the most sorted out. They will be the first people who want evidence. And if you see the rule books, they say the full ball has to go out. So maybe there was no clear line of sight, but if this is the case, they leave it to the referee, and as Mr. Franklin
So
has said,
ultimately, the referee's decision
referee's
is
decision
final.
was final.
Good or bad.
Yes.
Good or bad.
Now, FIFA, they were tight-lipped about the VAR decision. But it is understood that the decision was not assisted by technology, because the goal decision system is only operational between the goal posts. And nor was the semi-automated technology in the ball of any use in that instance. They say it's not a foolproof. Do you agree with that, or?
So they have been saying it's not foolproof. I
Yes.
believe if you would like to.
Yeah, in fact, now they depended on the line of sight. Now, for the line of sight, and it was mentioned that maybe a shin or a leg was obstructing the view. And in this case, where they felt that technology was not helping them, and in no angle, although on TV we saw that different angle shows the ball out. But it all depends on what is that hawker view, or what is the angle we are watching, and what is the technically correct angle. So it appeared from the angle from the linesman or from the referee that the ball was out, but it's not the case. It only depends, and they were trying to see it from the line of sight, but on the line of sight also they wouldn't get, because there were two Japanese players obstructing that view. In this case, they had to stick to the original decision, because they could not give it as out without actually knowing, and they had to stick it.
The Spanish coach actually said, I saw an image. That picture can't be true. But I have nothing else to say. I have full respect for the officials. I knew something was going on because VAR was taking very, very long. But we went into the collapse mood, and that is another story now. Germany were eliminated also at the first hurdle in Russia in 2018. They scored now 3 times in the final 17 minutes to finally see off Costa Rica side. Costa Rica held their own ambitions. You know, at one time it looked like they would progress to the round of 16 yesterday. However, Japan's win against Spain in the other game meant that the two sides qualified at the expense of Germany. Why do you have to depend on somebody else if your performance is not up to the high level?
Rightly so. So you mentioned 17 minutes they scored 3 goals, and hadn't not to be those 3 goals, Costa Rica and Japan I think would have been qualifying with 6 points each. But again, you cannot depend on other. You cannot put your qualification in other people's hands, in other teams' hands. And Germany should have done their job when it was available with them, which they did not do. And now you, by raising so many questions about that VAR goal, I think that's too little to be thinking about. You should just move on. Japan were deserving; they've gone through, and you have to accept your defeat, and you're out of the tournament.
Varul, what is your thought on all this process?
Yes, sir, they left it too late. They left it too late because always the third match in any World Cup is always the pressure match. Unless you're already assured of a qualification berth in the first 2 games, like many other teams have done it, Brazil have done it. So it's a less of pressure in the third match. And in this type of pressure situation, especially in this group, where the last match, all were depending on this last match.
Yes.
So we didn't know which way it would go through. And at last, although Germany had done their best and they had given a good result, it was not enough for them to qualify.
Germany actually controlled the game and went to 1-0 ahead at halftime. And it was 1-1 for Costa Rica, and an own goal in the 70th minute put Costa Rica in pole position to qualify for the last 16. But you know, the drama did not end there. Germany's substitute and Chelsea forward Havertz turned the game around again with a well-taken double, and before fellow substitute Niklas Füllkrug made it 4-2 in the 89th minute. The victory was not enough, though, as the 2014 tournament winners finished third in Group E with Spain and Japan above them. Germany were supposed to do much better.
Absolutely, they had to do. The team.
What exactly you think they ought to have done?
I believe they should have reached to the finals. That is what I would have thought, with a fantastic coach and the lineup that they have. But somehow this team just could not gel up together. I think the coach is fantastic. There must have been some element that had not got this team together. But I hope he continues with the German side. He would not step down, because he's a fantastic coach and he's going to try and get this team together.
Your final views on Germany?
Yes, sir, because what he does with Bayern Munich is phenomenal. And I mean, the same coach, same philosophy, but probably change of players, different players with different set of skills. So he couldn't reproduce the same form what he has in Bayern with this team.
But here, just to add, also half of the Bayern team is the same as the German side.
Yes,
He should have done.
But,
He
probably
ought to have done much
better.
Is it the players who failed him? Franklin, what is your view on that?
Prior to the tournament, it didn't look that way. But but we cannot take anything away from Japan. They have put in a performance, a samurai giant killing performance against two sides, and that has what changed the complexion of the German side.
Another surprise was Morocco-Canada. Morocco won 2-1. Morocco topped the group with 7 points from 3 matches and 2 victories and 1 draw. They advanced to the knockout stage for the first time since 1986 as they beat Canada 2-1. They topped also the Group F. With Morocco and Japan qualifying, it does send a signal that European football is not all that too powerful. It could be powerful, but slowly Asian teams are also making big impacts. Franklin?
Along with Asian teams, even the African and the Arab teams are doing phenomenal. They have been closing the gap. Europe is the elite along with the South American counterparts. But these World Cups are something which brings up about a different kind of atmosphere. And Morocco has taken up it very well. You have Japan who took it one side. Now you have Morocco.
No, Morocco topping the group. Japan topping the group. Was it expected?
No, not at all, sir. Because if you see in the group, it's Croatia, Belgium. They were supposed to be there who will be topping the group. And suddenly, out of nowhere, out of the blues, Morocco comes, plays good football. Yes, initially there was a mistake by Canada, but we should not take anything off from Morocco.
And also, Belgium is also eliminated.
Belgium.
Yes.
So, we had first half goals from Hakim and Nesiri that paved the way for all 3 points. Canada once again put up a very, very spirited effort, but came away with nothing, punished for their defensive mistakes yet again. Young team, but they couldn't survive. Canada's lone strike just came via own goal from Knife, who deflected a Sam cross into the back of the net. Canada, playing at their first World Cup since 1986, had no points to their tally at a World Cup for second time in as many appearances. Morocco topped the group to reach the last 16 stage for first time in 36 years. They were in a tricky group, including Croatia and Belgium, and they took 4 points off the European sides before gaining victory against Canada. Morocco will now play Spain, who finishes runners-up in Group E. And then we had Croatia and Belgium, 0-0. And it was Belgium who had 52%, but they could not get a victory. Your take on this match, Croatia and Belgium?
I think what I believe is Croatia knew that a draw was sufficient for them to progress, whereas Belgium had to go all out to win this particular match. And I think they went ahead. They compared to the last 2 matches, they had their lineup changed. You had Eden Hazard, who was playing the first 2 matches not pretty well. He was kept in as a substitute, and this time you had Lukaku playing up front. But so much of chances that Lukaku just squandered was something unbelievable.
Several golden chances.
3 open goals. It was not something that we could expect from Lukaku. I think those 3 goals would have helped Belgium in progressing to the next round.
Warren, about Lukaku?
Yes, sir. 3 easy chances. Especially the third one where he to just tap on. Any other day probably he would have scored it. It didn't just work for it, and you could see the frustration after the match. He was just distraught. He couldn't control his emotions. And that, as Mr. Franklin has said, it would 1-2 goals. He would have scored a hat-trick if he had not to miss.
But they say that Croatia's midfield was simply brilliant.
Yes, sir. It was brilliant. If you see the team also now with Guardiola, the defense, along with their Kremik, who's playing for Germany, really good. Although he's not that pacey, but he has an eye for goal. He's not that pacey as you see other like Harry Kane. He doesn't have that sort of pace, but he's really good. And the midfield created all the chances. And if you see Luka Modric, if you see his heat meter, if you see he was running throughout the match, he gave all that he had. And yes, they were really playing well.
Croatia did what they needed to do to earn 1 point and book a place in round 16. We are coming to the end of Bandit with Herald TV, supported by Decathlon Kalangut, Martin's Corner Betalbatim, Adleng Goy Family Restaurant, Doria Degir, Multi Cuisine, Old Goa, and Martin's Place, Village Bistro, Navelim. More surprises, I'm sure. Everybody concentrating now on that one match, South Korea and Portugal. I'm sure both of you will not miss it.
Definitely
No,
not.
not-
Keep on watching. Thank you very much for being with us. And to all our viewers, all the best. Let us hope for more shocks, surprises tonight. Bye-bye.